I put it there.
I really wanted to talk about this today because one of the things, being a channel opens me up to not just the words that flow through me, but, and as Aradil has experienced, there are just some beings that you connect with. Now, she connects with more of like the female powers, and she's connected to Ea in a very strong way. But there are other things that she will click with that I just don't get. And then there are things that I get. I get to hear a lot of these beings like Ea. Sometimes I actually get to kind of ride along with him with some of the things that he does. He didn't do that with me for the first few years that he visited, but now it's almost like him and I have kind of blended a little bit. There's been like a bleeding over, like there's a little bit of him in me now, and there's a little bit of me in him now, and we're both better for it. And I see things now that I never saw before because of that partial blending. And I see what he already knows about world economies and things because he drives around in this big-ass spaceship called Eternity.
It's like Babylon 5 if you ever watched it.
Yeah, it's almost identical. I mean, his ship looks like Babylon 5.
Except it's about 100 miles long.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger.
And massive.
But, and they have other ships that accompany it, so it's kind of like, I don't know, Battlestar Galactica, you know, where the Galactica always had an escort of other ships that they were, you know, trying to protect the remnants of humanity. But what Ea does, and what is so cool, and I thought you guys would enjoy hearing about this, is what Ea's day is like. It's absolutely amazing the things that he goes through and what happens throughout his day. And I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you, but he probably would think it would be boring. But let me tell you, to us, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's literally plotting on special dimensional crystals. Everything's crystals in the future.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
And like if they need something, they want to record things, they bring a crystal. And they could put you could probably put the entire world's library on one of their crystals.
They have implants, but they're not robotic looking on their faces or anything. These are implants that meld into their body, and they're a part of them, and they have this screen that pops up in front of them and they can see different things, but it's still part of that implant thing that
and it's just kind of, to them, they think of it as an extension of who they are.
Exactly.
So the whole cyberpunk thing probably had it a little bit more right. That's sort of the primitive stages of this. But the more advanced blending of higher technology, technology to us is a device. Technology to them is this quantum energy pulse that can follow them around and can integrate into their body and can change things. And I mean, it is like the combined energies plus nanotech and other things that are so far beyond our technology. And you don't carry things in the future, okay? They just become part of who you are. They travel like a cloud could travel around you, but you can see through it. And this cloud, at any time, you can call up your devices and things, and they just appear in your hands if you need a device. Okay?
They have a lot of humanoids on airship. Actually, the human form is something that's used quite frequently.
Is admired throughout the galaxy, the human form.
About the right height. A lot of beings are between the height of about 5 to 7.5 feet. Air is about 7 feet. He can be a lot bigger, but chooses to live as 7 feet.
And it becomes like a preference, the same way the way you do your hair.
Yeah, and so the Annunaki who follow that kind of lifestyle that incorporates our Creator, they will live in, like, they're very wealthy, but you know, it doesn't mean that much to them because they have that wealth and they give a lot of it to other beings to help them. Like, Ea has given a lot of wealth to the Fae to help them get going. And then some of the ideas that we've had to help the Fae have absolutely transformed their species in the last couple of years. You know, they have their own planet now, and a lot of this is because Ea got involved and helped them.
And this is what he does. He goes from planet to planet that is in need of his services, that are within the Federation Charter, that like, hey, there are all these worlds that are now part of the Federation of Light, for example. And he will travel on a course through these different planets, and he'll visit different solar systems and different galaxies, and sometimes different dimensions, because there are certain dimensions that open up to Federation travel. So that it's kind of like going to another planet, but you're in the same location, but you just shift dimensions.
Right.
So, and what he does is he goes there, and there's an approved list of things that he can trade with them.
Yeah.
And they usually have the raw materials because they're underdeveloped, and he brings an advancement that's been approved in technology. So it would be possible that Ea could be at some point on the landing committee that actually works with Earth to convert it into starports and other things. And if you have that coming, Earth has it coming, you probably, all of us would fall into that category.
Well, the reason being is the Fae are coming back to Terra, because that's where they were here.
Starting to see the connection
Fae
here, people.
will come back. And I want you guys to know the Fae are not just tiny.
Oh.
They can be very elvish looking, and they can be 4, 5 feet tall.
The taller girls are like 5'2", 5'3".
Right. And if they have a mate that they find that they want to have offspring with, and he just doesn't happen to be a Fae, because they do marry outside of their own species, and they do that to bring in new gene pools. Look, the Fae are gonna be, you better watch the Fae, because they're going through the universe, and they're part of the feminine energy that will help clean up things.
And that's what Father has directed, that some of this is actually going on. And that's why you're going to, like I said, see more and more of this as the dimensions begin to fold together. But certainly after whatever event that they are saying that they're going to bring forth, I still believe that the only one event that truly would unify the world, and Ronald Reagan said it best, was that he believed that all the problems of the world would simply go away if an outside force was recognized as attempting to destroy this planet. And that there would be a one world order formed, but a good one world order. You see, that's the scary thing about all this. We know that the dark forces were attempting to create a one world order so that they could have this ironclad, almost godlike abilities over all of us at any given time. They could have us all killed if they want us. They could keep some of us. You know, that's what they wanted. They wanted misery on a level you couldn't even imagine.
And there were just some of you that they were going to keep as pets because your energy was unique, and that they didn't want to share that. You know, the elites of some of these demonic lords and some of these
right, because they're also lords. Very, very evil and greedy, and they wanted to possess. They didn't just want to kill off all the humans.
They wanted to possess you.
There were some of you they just wanted to possess as playthings.
Yeah. You
know, to taunt with, you know, do unspeakable things.
Well, you guys heard what they had planned for me. I was to be a breeder of these elite females that they were going to try and bring into the universe. And you guys don't have to believe that, but they're that, just to tell you,
diabolically cunning.
Yeah, not even consider that you may not want to do that. Oh, no, no, no.
And not only were they going to do that to a lot of the women, and believe me, they have advanced technologies. You're thinking, well, you're an older person, they probably wouldn't want to mess with you. They'll just throw you in a med bed.
They'll throw you in a med bed and make you 25 again.
Yeah, make you as young and attractive as you can look, and then they'll take their time and systematically destroy you.
That's what
take all of it back from you.
I mean, if you think about this, Marilyn Monroe's DNA is owned by the United States government. So they just play with her throughout different time
bring her
dimensions,
back when
and
they
bring
need her,
back.
turn some of her into actual women for sex toys, give them sex kitten training. The other ones are neither male nor female, they're hermaphrodite.
And
so,
they're being bred that way.
yeah, so that they're like game pieces. Okay, this is like Aya's massive game of Minette that he plays in the galaxy, this special game that he plays that has all this political intrigue, and the moves are based on your friends and what planets they own. It would blow your mind if you knew some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But like I was saying with Aya's day, what does Aya do every morning?
He talks to Father.
Care to take a guess? A few shots at it?
Oh.
You probably know because you talked to him.
Well, there's a couple things he does. He goes for a run in lion form. He loves going for runs in a area on the ship that looks like the Sahara Desert. So he loves that. Or he goes and talks to one of the oceanics on the ship. He has a lake where we have Nessie. We call her Nessie.
Yeah, that's funny. I love the Nessie.
But she is like that. She's a Plethosaurus. And so he goes and talks to her. Her cousin is Tatiana, my friend. So, yes.
Yeah, and you get to
guys
know.
would be surprised.
Look, if you guys did, you could do the same thing. You start figuring out who your family is. You start figuring out what's going on there. You'll start connecting with some of these beings. Now, you want to challenge them to make sure, do you love Father? Who are you? That kind of thing. I will only speak to Father or Father's, chosen ones that are to govern me. I'm trying to speak to my higher self. That kind of stuff. And you got to be in the right mindset for this stuff. You got to kind of do your happy, joy moment before you try to start talking to these beings. Because if you don't, you kind of have this aura of stench around you. And they don't like to talk to people that are from Terra because a lot of you can't see past the reality of the fact that you can talk to people off of Terra. Yeah, I know. They painted that as insane for a reason. Why do you think they made all these people, oh yeah, tinfoil hat wearers, these guys are crooks, they think they're talking to aliens. Well, I got news for you.
Yeah.
We all have pineal glands and almost all of us can talk to people off-world if we learn how to do it. It's a simple process.
I talk to beings all the time that are not on this planet. And I got to tell you, the reason why is because I can actually learn something. And I can have amazing conversations like nothing you've ever heard here on Terra.
Listen, you don't want to talk to people on Terra. Many of them those are the crazy people.
They're either too arrogant to listen to you because they know better, or they just
think
hateful,
you're
some
so
of them.
programmed to hate anything that they knew would be connect. Why do you think they created all this stuff where they call you crazy conspiracy theorist, this and that? They do that because they know it works. They frighten people into not wanting to try these things. Okay? I mean, for years and years, people thought tomatoes were deadly poison and they wouldn't eat them. Until one day, one guy walked up and said, you know what? Fuck you. And he clicked it off and he bit down in it, and everyone in this old western town was like, oh, he's going to die. And then he started slicing it up and eating it in front of them. And then the next day he had two of them. He was cutting them up. Yep, these are deadly. They're deadly poison. Don't touch them. I love them. Well, I'll take care of them for you guys. And after a while, it caught on. See what I mean? They've been lying to you about every fucking thing.
Everything, guys. Everything.
Now, I'm not recommending you go out in the bush and, that's deadly poison. Whoa, it's an inverted world, so... No. I mean, there are some things we have proof of. But I mean, a lot of what they tell you is lies because they don't want you to try it.
And they're still lying to you. They're still lying to you.
And they're very good at it,
but
aren't they?
This is the new liars. Okay, these are the new liars.
We got a whole new wave of new liars coming.
Honestly,
don't
guys,
worry, so the new liars are killing off all the old liars because they lied too much. So the new liars are only going to lie to you a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to Father, hey, wait a minute. If everyone's lying, who do I believe? Because if they're going to lie about that, eventually they'll start lying about other things until it comes back to killing kids again. That's how it always works.
Yeah.
I'd like to refer to some of the new liars as fudge packers. Would that be all right? Because that's exactly the activity I would believe that they'd be most suited for.
That's why we say you cannot believe anything you hear.
So
because they have their own agenda. And you're hearing all the Fluff and Rose's version of it.
Talking about fudge packing, I don't know. That's kind of nasty, but it's probably true. I mean, most of them, these minions that they left behind, almost all of them are transgenders, or Baphomet inversions, or bred specifically as a hermaphrodite.
Yeah. I really encourage you to study biometric data on the male and human anatomy and bone structure.
I think part of what you guys were talking about today was just what it would be like to be Ea, and from Ea's perspective, what just even part of his day is like. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I've seen him on the lower decks walking amongst the people almost like a prophet. They all come up to him. They're always talking to him, and he directs a lot of dignitaries from different planets and different worlds are always coming to visit him, and they also have an entire civilization that lives on his ship and have been there for generations. There are some people on his ship that don't even know it's a ship.
Exactly.
Okay, they live on some of those like 20 by 20 square hectares or whatever the hell measurement they use. It's actual land, and you have an atmosphere there and everything, and there's a light that they think it's the sun. Well, gee, I wonder where they got that idea from. Because some of these realities are that you're in, there may very well be a duplicate copy of that somewhere. Like you might see the world Terra, but some of you are not actually in Terra right now. You're in a projected reality that's connected to Terra, and eventually you'll be able to reintegrate into Terra. See, this shit gets really out of kilt here. Okay, understand that all of you are having the same delusion that you are on this planet, but about a third of you actually are not even on this planet. You are projecting from other planets and other places. And you got this little itty bitty bitty silver cord that follows you and connects you right back down to this planet. And because Father's wire stays up no matter what, you can connect through this, and you can actually have an entire lifetime experience on this planet, believing that you live on this planet when you are in another parallel represented universe that's very similar, and yet everything kind of integrates, because then Father will say, okay, this group of people have to be integrated onto that reality. Okay, because that's what Father's doing. He's trying to bring everyone together in one place for all the good beings, and most of them will end up on Terra. And then meanwhile, while the others will begin to de-res, and they'll be like, some will be pulling back from their matrices, and they'll either rebound back to their matrix, or they will actually coalesce on this one and then have to receive punishment because they were on the dark side. So it gets very complicated, this stuff. It really, really does.
Yeah. Different kind of reality, because the Matrix movies tried to kind of show you what actually exists on what we perceive as a planet.
Yeah, remember all those towers of all those people, like pillars of power? Each one of those pillars you probably thought, and most of the people saw it like, oh, these are all the people that are in that reality. Well, many of them were, but different towers had different powers, and different powers could connect to different versions of that same matrix. So if they wanted to put you in a darker version of that matrix, or a lighter version, depending on how well you behaved, see, you could then earn what would seem to be like you were evolving into higher matrices. And I mentioned this before, that they'd set this up to mimic so that you would believe, your soul would believe that you were, evolving. So it wouldn't try to fight to get out of that matrix. There's all this kind of crap going on, people. Yeah.
And some of you are at the point now where you're like Neo when he wants to disconnect completely from that matrix, and he wakes up and says, wait a minute, this isn't really my world. I don't know this place. I don't belong here. And so you now start looking at the world from the outside, which is what I've been trying to explain. You have to look out at it from the outside, and you're looking into it. Even though that sounds strange, it's really the only way sometimes that you can cope with all that craziness.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before about looking from the outside in. Well, of course, it's the only way you get perspective, to say, wait a minute, this isn't even real what's going on here.
It's not even real.
It's not even real. The real being that I am is stuck here. I've been trapped.
Yeah.
And believe me, there are many of us in this house that understand that.